G'day and welcome to another episode of Tomo's Tune-Ups. I am accompanied here by a legend in the classic mini world, AC Dodd. Mate, how you going there?
Yeah, I'm not going. I'm not doing too bad. So nice to be invited on for an interview and a chat.
Yeah, no worries, mate. So you want to introduce yourself and talk about what it is that you do?
Okay, so for those who don't know me, my name's AC Dodd. I've been messing around with minis for many years. In fact, I started when I was, I think the earliest recollection I have working on a mini was with my dad when I was just 8 years old. So I'm 48 now. So you could say I first touched a mini 40 years ago. So uh,
Well
um,
seasoned.
yeah, absolutely. But most people know me for engine work, tuning engines or engine building. I don't actually build engines anymore. I just concentrate on machining and machine parts and engine machining for classic minis.
Yeah, okay. So you've been working on minis for about 40 years. Is there other vehicles that you work on as well, or do you specialize just in minis?
That's an interesting question because a lot of people know me for minis, but actual fact, when I was growing up, my main exposure to the A series engine was via the car, the Austin Metro. So I'm not sure if you had them over there in Australia, but they were but we had loads of them. They were
Yeah,
like,
okay.
they were like, sweets over here.
Mm.
And I know more about the Austin Metro than I do the Mini, if that makes sense, in terms of what was fitted when and all the rest of it. But obviously, the Mini was my first car, and my dad was known as locally in the area where we lived as Charlie the Miniman. So he used to build and rebuild crash repair cars and do engine rebuilds and gearbox rebuilds and build kit cars, all sorts of things. But
Mhm.
his main focus was just stock, so not modified. Whereas when I got old enough to drive, I quickly decided that my little 998 wasn't quick enough, and being an apprentice engineer, I had access to a machine shop and a plentiful supply of engine parts via my father. So I soon learned to put the two together and start machining uh, metal off things to make things go better.
Yeah, okay. So what is it you actually do? Like you're talking about machining parts and that you're an engineer. So what is it that you do like on your channel and you specialize in exactly?
Okay, so I used to, up until about 3 or 4 years ago, build engines. So I used to be an engine builder, and people come to me for an engine, and I'll build them a modified engine, etc., etc. Anyway, I quickly realised that actually it was taking me too long, so I needed to change the way I was doing business. So I stopped doing that, and now I focus on producing parts for the performance market. Um, and things like I have my own camshafts, which I designed. Many years ago, I was building my own engines, and I kept hitting a wall with performance, and I quickly realised it was the camshaft. So I went off and talked to Newman Cams in the UK, and we come up with my range of camshafts, which is subsequently proved to be a good move because I now get they're now stocked and sold by Mini Spares. People like
Wow.
Specialist Components have used them, Slark Racing use them, and all these people use these cams because they have access to dynos. And when they dyno them, they realise they're getting wider power bands using my camshaft. So I must be doing something right.
Yeah, so I imagine that R&D would have taken a long time to put that together.
Well, actually, uh, it didn't, and the reason for that is because I looked at literally hundreds and hundreds of camshafts in terms of not on the dyno, but actually on a test engine jig that I had in my workshop here, and just did the geometry and the maths, and then worked out what the power curves they were giving, and then looked at what I needed to do to increase the power, and I literally did a numbers game, and
Yep.
then the first time we did it, I was lucky, I suppose. I hit the right mark straight off the bat. So,
Wow.
that wasn't done that wasn't just me being brilliant. Obviously, I used Ken Newman at Newman Cams,
Yeah.
but I used his expertise, obviously, to draw out the profile and design them for me. But he ground them to my duration and timing figures and lift, etc.
Yeah, very good. So one of the people, sorry, that got me onto your channel and what you do is Paul Jeffries. So g'day, mate. He was talking to me about shimming oil pumps. So I was always under the impression you get an oil pump, you just fit it straight to an engine. Is that the case? And if not, why do we need to shim them, or what's the advantage of shimming it?
Okay, so I think what you mean by shimming is checking the end float, or checking the the rotor to case end float.
Yep.
So I will say that one of the worst things you can do when you build an engine is to take a new part out of the box and bolt it on, and then move on to the next bit.
Yep.
If you want to build a successful engine, every part comes out of the box needs to be checked, adjusted, and then fitted. All right. So just because it's new doesn't mean to say it's any good. So if you take a typical 1275 oil pump that comes from the factory or any of the aftermarket ones, so it doesn't matter where they come from, unless they're specially built, obviously. But any standard pump, you'll find that the end flow is something like 5 thou, or maybe 5.5, or even 6 thou.
Yeah, right.
Which is way too big. So simply reducing that end flow makes the pump scavenge much more efficiently, so it'll pick up oil quicker. So if you're building an engine, what you don't want to do is start the engine and wait 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds for the oil pressure to get up. You want that up in 2 or 3 seconds to get the oil around the bearings as fast as possible. So one of the modifications I come up with was to reduce the clearance in the pump to increase the scavenge effect to make the pump more efficient. And there are a number of videos on YouTube, for example, of people having these oil pumps and then finding that they get pretty much instant oil pressure. So that's what it's all about. But it doesn't just apply to oil pumps, it's every engine part.
Yeah. Okay. So these are the sort of things that we could find on the internet. Like, do you have a YouTube channel that we could search it on?
Yeah. So my YouTube handle is ampersand at AC Dodd, or if you just Google and type in AC Dodd, you'll quickly find lots of information on me. But if you just go to YouTube and type in AC Dodd and then go to my channel, I've got various videos there, and I've got playlists set up as well, so you can look at different things that I do. But what you'll find about my YouTube channel is it's not just about engine machining. It's about, I like my machine tools. I like machining. So there's things on the machining on the milling machine, machining on the lathe, and there's also clearly the machine work that I do on engine parts like rockers, cylinder head, valve seat cut, and you name it. It's all on there. Flywheels, carburetors. So I suppose I'm not a specialist in one area, other than you could say the entire A series, if that makes sense. I look at the whole lot. So, if you back in the day when I used to build you an engine, you didn't just get the engine. I'd rebuilt the alternator, I'd rebuilt the carburetor, I'd rebuilt the distributor. Everything was done by me. So it wasn't just the engine parts and you bolt on other bits from other people. I did the whole assembly. So that's kind of what I'm known for. And one of the things that you get there is, if you get everything built, it all works together.
Yeah, that's
and then
fair.
you get a product. That's the idea.
So do you do a lot of this work at home, or do you have a factory or a shed or a shop that you
I
build in?
actually I have a garage which I've got my workshop in at my own property. So and believe it or not, this is a hobby. So
Yeah, okay.
I don't do this. I don't do this. As a full-time job. So
Yeah,
I
okay.
do, although sometimes it does feel like a full-time job because I'm in there a lot.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So what do you do full time?
I work in the defence industry, which I'm not going to comment on.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's cool. So how can people contact you? Do you have a website, or through social media? What's the best contact handle?
The best way to contact me is because I'm busy, I tend to limit so I don't give out my mobile number and stuff like that unless I know you, obviously. But the best way to contact me is via Messenger from Facebook.
Yep.
And the reason why I do that is just so I can control the numbers really, and
Mhm.
I can weed out the people who really want to talk to me versus the people that just want to ask the odd question and could really find that information out online if they looked.
Yeah. Well, we previously did a chat with Paul Jeffries, and we spoke about that sort of thing. Is a lot of the questions out there that people have, you can find online. You just got to obviously know where to look, and YouTube is a really good place. That all we got to do now is just whip out our phone, quickly type it into Google, and generally it comes up. But the people who are actually after that information are the ones who generally want to know because they're doing something like modifications, especially to an engine. Might be your first time, or you might just be looking for that little bit of extra help or guidance. So it's good that people can reach out. So, mate, is there anything else you want to add to the chat before we wrap it up?
I think the only thing I want to say just about my YouTube channel, the reason why I started that was because there was a lot of information that was starting to come out that was, in my view, a little bit misleading, or
Okay.
perhaps wasn't necessarily, it didn't tell people the right way to do something, or the best way to do something. So there's many ways of doing a particular job,
Mm.
but in certain circumstances, I figured that the best way to do this was to start my own channel and start putting information on about what I do.
Yep.
And what I do is the way I do it,
Yeah.
which could be different to anybody else's. But the reason why I'm putting my information up is because it works. Yeah.
Yep.
And I use it and I make money from that information, etc. So all I'm saying is, if people want to find out about how something's done, if you look at my channel, that's just an honest view of the way I do stuff, and it
Mhm.
works.
Yep. Yeah, trialed and proven. So can't answer anything else. Well, everyone, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate everyone tuning in. I hope you learned something. I will put some links in the description above to both of our channels and some of the videos. So thanks for watching, guys. And mate, we'll chat again soon.
Thank you very much.
No worries. Thanks, guys.